Woo! What's up, y'all? This your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle
and the beautiful
Classy Lady Sparkle.
I don't even have my mic on my head. Listen, I'm making this happen. But so this your boy Charles Gregory, and check this out. You already know how I feel about these interviews, man. And why do I like the interviews? Because that's my favorite segment of the show. And why is it my favorite segment of the show? Because I get a chance to talk to the beautiful people. The people who doing something. The people who making moves. The people who getting that bread, right?
The
it's
movers
just the
and the
people. The movers and
shakers.
shakers, the influencers, right? And that's why I love talking to the people. And so, without further ado, Lauren Sizzle, who do we have today?
So we have the beautiful Miss Deshawn Chancy. She is the founder and CEO of the company Dare to Have Hair, an author and entrepreneur. For those of you who are listening, Lizzo, we just played Lizzo, Truth Hurts. Lizzo wears this beautiful woman's hair. If you've seen Lizzo's hair, that speaks for everything. So Miss Chancy, her journey in the hair industry started after her life drastically changed when her job in corporate America came to an end. With a family to provide for, Miss Chancy embarked on a journey to build her hair empire. Deshawn is the true definition of a mompreneur, a savvy mother who also runs their own company. In the first year, she started with 300 and flipped it to 370,000. Mm-hmm. She didn't stop there. While the hair industry raved about Dare to Have Hair locally and internationally, she decided to take the things to the next level. In 2013, her hair care line, Dare Care, was a huge success. Within the same year, her hair salon, Royal Vanity, located in Newcastle, Delaware, opened for business. Deshawn is now 5 years into the hair industry and is determined to take her company and brand, That Daring Chick, to the next level. Welcome to the show, Deshawn Chancy.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yes, the beautiful smile.
Yes.
The hair's just popping, lip gloss, everything, right?
Yes.
Black girl magic, as I like to say. So, where do I start, man? Let's start with what got you into hair, right? Because I work with a lot of different stylists, right? Mm-hmm. And as I like to say, we're the most underappreciated segment of the industry, right? Mm-hmm. And so, as it relates to just hair specifically, right? Multi-billion-dollar industry. Mm-hmm. A lot of times or often, you don't see a lot of people of color within that industry really profiting, right? Mm-hmm. You see our, when I say Asian counterparts, mm-hmm. Our Asian mm-hmm. counterparts really profiting, but not us, right? Why do you think that is, first and foremost? And then why do you believe you became successful in it?
Honestly, well, first of all, I would like to say I'm actually not a hairstylist.
I understand.
Okay.
You in the industry though.
Right.
It's the hair. You're in the hair care industry, right? You're selling the bundles, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's you. So again, why do you think?
I think it has a lot to do with fear.
Right.
I feel like people are afraid. I feel like they look at their surroundings, maybe how they was raised, the different mm-hmm. setbacks that they faced in life, and they feel like that they're stuck there and they can't correlate the two. Like, how can I jump from here to there? Or how can I get from here to there? When really all it takes is just a leap of faith and some action behind it. But it has a lot to do with the mentality, and that's why I tell a lot of people that entrepreneurship first starts with your mentality. Once you change your mentality, then you can do anything.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. So now let's talk about, because that's an excellent transition in terms of you something went off in your head, light bulb, click. I'm gonna be an entrepreneur within this industry, right? Mm-hmm. As it relates to hair. What was that click? When did you get that aha moment?
I would say it never really was an aha moment. It literally was a leap of faith. And it came when I worked for Bank of America for about 7 or 8 years. And I was one of their top employees. I always was the type of person that if you set a goal before me, especially if it has some money attached, and you say, I need you to get to this and you can get that, then I was going to get there and beyond.
Yeah.
So I did really well there. But once my husband graduated college, my personal life goal was, I was like, I just want to be a housewife. I want to take care of my kids and I want to be taken care of. Right. But they say, tell God your dreams or something, or he laughed. But that's literally what happened. So I end up getting let go. I got fired because I was one of their top employees. They had a lot on me, and I was trying to pull back because of my work schedule at that time was 8 to 12. Then I had to leave and come back 5 to 9. But because I was a very ambitious person, and the distance between my house, and I just knew I could make more money, I would literally stay there from 8 to 9 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock at night every day. So I really didn't have a chance to spend time with my kids, and that was eating me up. So once they fired me, I got unemployment for 2 years, and it basically was my salary without my incentive. So I was just like, okay. So I did that until literally I got a letter from Obama saying, Mrs. Chancy, you've been on unemployment for 2 years. We got to cut this. So once that happened, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I always been into beauty. I always loved, things of beauty. And I literally prayed. I'm like, God, what can I do? I had a situation where I had some products that I weren't satisfied with. I kept trying to reach out to the company and they weren't responding to me. So I started doing a lot of research. And in me doing a lot of research, I was like, what if I did something like this? And I presented the idea to my husband and my mom. And they was like, well, we'll give you money to start. So then I started, doing a lot of research, gaining a lot of contacts and things like that. And, bam, it started from there. And I didn't think even from that it was going to grow to where it is now. And I just thought that, okay, I'm going to bring some additional income in my house to help my husband.
So did you have any reservations? Because like Charles said, it's mainly dominated by the Asians. And I've heard stories of other females that was getting into hair and the industry having some challenges by Asians who, trying to stop them from, doing what they were trying to do.
I have a dominant personality. So that was never one of my fears.
You wasn't going to let them stop you.
If anything, my fear was like, who's going to support me? Like, who's going to buy from me? Nobody knows me. I only have 200 followers on Instagram. Like, who's going to buy my product? But it never crossed my mind that, these people are going to stop me or this person is going to stop me because I'm very inquisitive. So I kind of forced my way through the door and I just kept asking a lot of questions until that person could lead me to this person, to that person could lead me to this person until I got to the top. But I never thought for a second that, these people are not going to let me in or anything. And I think that's another thing with our culture, sometimes we get so caught up on, because so much has been done to us, that we automatically come off defensive. And that automatically makes other people defensive. But sometimes if you come off curious, you have to use wisdom and just come off curious. You can, kind of curveball that regardless of what they think about you or how they feel about you. Once they see your work ethic and you are not playing no games, at that point, color doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Let's talk about this, right? Because this is interesting to me. In the first year, she started with $300 and flipped it into $370,000. Let's talk about that. I'm very interested in that.
And when's the Shark Tank coming? When is the Shark Tank coming?
What in what aspect? Do you want to know how I did it?
How did you do? Because that's what most entrepreneurs want to know, right?
Okay.
How?
So basically, I kept putting it back in my business, and it wasn't easy because within that first year, my car got repossessed. I was behind on my rent. But that's because everything that I was gaining, now I'm not going to tell anybody else to do this, but everything, I had a goal and I had a mission. Because once I started seeing that this was profitable and that this was actually bringing money in, and sometimes I would even cry of joy, like, oh my God, these people are putting money in my hand because I know what it's like to work paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like to be a single mom. So for somebody to take that money from their check and invest it back into me, that blew my mind. So when they would give me that money for that product, instead of me going to pay a bill, instead of me buying my kids Jordans, instead of me even buying myself red bottoms, even though I seen all the other businesses at that time, girls with their bags and stuff at that time, I knew that I couldn't do that at this moment. So I was very, I saved. So I would put it back into my business. If I had to do something that required me to dress up, I would rent the outfit online and then send it back. So I kept, doing things like that to put put the money back into my business, because I started noticing a trend of when people were getting paid, when people were going to need bundles, if it was going to be a party in town, even if a party in Philly, and then word of mouth kept spreading. And so I made sure, I'm like, I need to have product on hand, because I know our people don't like to wait. We don't like to wait. So I'm like, I need to have product on hand. So at that point, I started reinvesting until my whole house was full of products. And I just kept flipping it until at the end of the year, my accountant was like, you can't operate like this no more. You have to become a corporation, and you need to get an attorney, and you need to hire me full time, because I need to manage your books, because you know, you're bringing in so much income, you can get in trouble.
Really interesting. Wow. So how has, I guess, the hair industry changed since you've been in? Have you seen a change, or is it pretty consistent?
It changes all the time. It changes from when if I operated the way that I did when I first started now, I wouldn't be successful anymore. You have to keep up with the trends. You have to keep up, you know, with the people. When I first started out, women weren't wearing closures and frontals. They were just wearing bundles, and they were afraid to wear closures and frontals. Even when I was trying to present it to them, like, you know, we have this new product, you know, they were like, oh, I don't know about that, the netting and stuff like that. And then, you know, now they wearing closures and frontals, but now wigs are huge. So, you know, a lot of women don't wear too many bundles anymore, or they'll convert their bundles into wigs. So you have to keep up. But honestly, these things been around for a long time. Like celebrities been wearing wigs and frontals before people used to make fun of people. Exactly. Like, she got a lace front on. But now everybody has on a lace front, you know? So even when back in the day, when I was in high school, when you had hair, it was like you didn't tell nobody you had hair. It was a secret. Like, no one can know you had tracks. No one can know you had weave. Now it's not even like a secret anymore. So the hair game is always changing. You have to keep up with it. That's one of the biggest things with business. You can't be afraid of change.
We have our white counterparts are also
and copying off of us. Did you see the thing where the lady, a white lady invented, she invented a nightcap, which is a bonnet, and she's selling them for $100 each, and she made it to Forbes as being an inventor, and like, you know, breaking the mold and all this stuff, and making all this money from a nightcap, when we've been getting
that makes me so mad.
And she sold them for $100, like on Nordstrom, Saks, everything. And guess what the name of it is? The Cleopatra.
The Cleopatra. Which, if you watch TV, guess who else just Cleopatra?
That makes me so. I'm not gonna get mad.
I try not to get on my soapbox all the time. You know what I mean?
And then when we put it on and go out, we're ratchet, we're ghetto. But let them do it, and that's cool. That's
because
hot.
Her doctor told her, you know, to preserve, you know, the integrity of her hair, she should do that. So then she claimed that's why she created it. Like, child, please.
Right.
That's been going on since the beginning of time, like taking our inventions and stuff like that.
So let's talk a little bit about royal vanity.
It's now theirs to have hair.
Listen, when I tell you, you are just making moves, and where can, I mean, because you're growing. Where do we see you in the next year and then the next 3 years?
I pray it's to now that I have my flagship store there to have hair. I pray I can have those in, you know, pretty much every state.
Interesting. And 5 years from now, or three to 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Totally retired from this, and my daughter running it.
One
of my daughters.
I know that's right. Speaking of your daughter, twin. I call her twin face. You have to see her daughter look identical. I was like, well, your sister's right. She's like, no, that's my daughter. I said, what? Wow, unbelievable. So that's interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that, right? As it relates to family and legacy. Because oftentimes we go into business, or we don't have businesses, and even property, real estate, and we don't have any legacy to leave to our people. How important is that?
It's very important. Right. And I started to really know how much more important it was, just with my access with things. And I tell people that, you know, when you really start reaching a certain level of success, or just of making a certain amount of money, your mentality does change. It does change the way you do things, the way you interact. And it's important now because I know I'm securing something not just for myself, but also, you know, for my children, you know, letting them know and overcoming and breaking generational curses. Because like I said, it's so sad that a lot of times people feel like they can't achieve certain levels of success because of what they've been through or the environment they came from. You know, I was born in Chester, Pennsylvania. You know,
Shout
I
out to
grew up.
Chester. I got a few.
I grew up, you know, in Philadelphia and Southwest with my dad, and then I lived also in Delaware and Bear. So I got to see the different aspects of different parts of the cities and towns and things like that. Also, you know, I also didn't graduate high school because I was sexually molested as a child. So I dropped completely out of high school. I was a teen mom. So, you know, just so many different things that I personally went through that I persevered through. It's just that I don't want people to think that just because, you know, you're a single mom or you were a teen mom or, you know, you dropped out of school or different things like that, you know, you can't accomplish or reach a certain level of success. You can do anything you want to as long as you change your mentality.
Yeah, interesting. You know, on this show, we always talk about different things and giving people the opportunity and a platform to kind of tell their story, right? And I'm interested in your story, right? I ask this question all the time, and some people laugh about it, but I ask, what's the one thing that no one knows about you that you can let us know right now so that we can have it exclusive? But I'm really interested in, you know, what about you don't anyone know? You're pretty much an open book, right? But you as a person, you as an entrepreneur, you as a black woman, right? What's that one thing that no one knows about you that you would like, you know, people to really know outside of the face, right? People will look at you, oh, her company made $370,000, but they don't really know what it took to get there. You know what I mean? What's that one thing?
I would say the ability to keep going. Like every day I want to quit because it doesn't get easier the higher you go or the more you make. Or, you know, we just opened up a warehouse now. We have our own distribution center. So a lot of people from the outside looking in, they might look at my business pages, you know, or my personal page and think that like, you know, oh, this, like she makes it look easy or her life is great. But, you know, the more you accomplish and the more things you go through, the more doors you got to kick down. So it doesn't get easier. It actually gets harder. You know, I'm not only now dealing with myself. When I started out in my, you know, my townhouse, you know, little small room. And then I left there and then I had to go out into a world now of people, you know, and managing people and dealing with different personalities. Where me, I'm a loner and I operate by myself because I know my potential. I know like I can go all night, but then the person that maybe worked for me can't. So now I have to lean to another side of me that I didn't have before. Just all different aspects, you know, because my business is growing so fast, just keeping up with inventory and, you know, things like that. Like, you know, we just had somebody that bought wholesale from us, almost 300 pieces, you know, so it's heavy, but, you know, it's not easy. So just the simple fact that I have to constantly, you know, I grew up in a church, you know, and I constantly thank God that was implanted in me because things pop up into my mind. So when I want to give up and I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I remember like in the Bible when it said David had to encourage himself. And that means so much to me at this level because it doesn't matter if you encourage me and you're proud of me or you encourage me today. So I got to encourage myself. And that's what it all boils down to. I got to keep myself up. I got to keep myself going. And I think a lot of people don't realize that because they like, she's so strong.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I'm kind of at a loss of words because everybody goes through that feeling of, is this for me? You know, I'm tired. Can I succeed? Is what I'm doing even worth it? Will I get to the place that I want to go? Right. But to hear someone to say who, you know, most will say have done it, have reached that success, right? To feel that, you know, she feels like me. She feels like quitting every day. It's not foreign.
Yeah.
I think that's an important piece. Yeah, interesting.
Well, how did you get to where you were able to have Lizzo wear your hair?
Well, being though Dare to Have Hair is a brand that it is, it's also, you know, worn by so many different people. So the brand itself is out there, but it's just me that's kind of hidden behind a brand. And maybe the last year or the year before last year, I was in LA and I was at an event. Cassie was there. A lot of different people was there. But Lizzo, I think it's like her best friend, her hairstylist was there. And me and her just clicked at that event, and we exchanged information and things like that. And, you know, we've been following and keeping up with each other over the last couple of years. And I just kind of was like, hey, you know, like, you know, let's work. And she was like, of course, like, you know, I see your brand everywhere. We would love to. And it went from that, from them loving the product. And, you know, from there, we also have, you know, several other people that wears the product as well that's in the music industry. A lot of upcoming new artists like Drizzy, Candace, a lot of social media influencers and things like that. And I really believe it's because we built the brand so solid that it speaks for itself.
Yes.
Then now people contact us.
Wow.
Are you wearing your product now?
Yes.
Wow. Now, what would that be called for those who's watching? This is
actually a wig. It's a full lace wig.
Wow. You can't even tell. Well, I mean, I guess
and like
I'm
my
a guy.
Natural is pretty.
My natural hair is actually longer than this, but because it's so hot outside, I just kind of wanted something that's easy, so I don't have to cut my hair. I just wanted to go with this.
Right.
What's the biggest mistake you think women make as it relates to like wigs and clothes, all that good old stuff?
Not having confidence wearing it.
And what do you mean by that? Like,
I feel like with anything you do, you just have to have confidence. And that's why I like people like Lizzo or, you know, people that have personalities like Cardi, because we look at that and we think like, that's, you know, this person is so, you know, successful because, you know, Cardi is this and that. But if you took that same confidence and bottled up within yourself, and I always tell my daughter, because I'm very observant. I always been like that.
Which daughter? You listening?
Twin.
You listening?
Since high school, I'm a people watcher. I always analyze people, you know, things like that. And I tell her, like, you know, it's really, you know, life is easy to conquer life. If you really just look at it from the outside in, it's just really fear. But if you ever notice, it'd be like that girl in school, even like the comedian Monique, you know what I mean? And you like, she thick and she out here and she be dancing and stuff like that. But then everybody love her. You have that one friend that don't care what she got on or whatever, but then people just flock to her. If you have confidence, you can do whatever you want, because that's what attracts people. People get high off the energy. So so you confident about no matter what you do, that's how you create a trend. So that's exactly how you create a trend. If you go out here with a blue suit on but you confident as I don't know what, then it's gonna create a buzz.
I know that's right.
So don't overthink it. Don't, you know, judge yourself. Just be confident in whatever you do.
I know. What would you say to the because you kind of said it, what would you say to the aspiring you know, little girl that's looking at you and seeing what you're doing, and she's, you know, anticipating becoming an entrepreneur and being like you? What would you tell that little girl?
I would say start doing your research now. Like, you can actually become an entrepreneur at 2 years old, the way that, you know, the world is right now. Before, I know when I was in school, everything was like, oh, you got to go to school. You got to become a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or whatever that. You know, we were taught to fit inside a certain mold, and I think that was another reason why I wasn't so successful in school, because I'm the type of person, you can't force me into a mold. I'm free spirited. I gotta flow at my own beat or my own path. Like, don't try to make me be something, you know.
Right.
So I just think you should be creative and march at your own beat and start writing down your ideas now and start executing them slowly. I think that's another thing. We get so overwhelmed about how big the project is, but I notice what helps me, like with just anxiety, when I look at how big my goals are, is just starting little, like one day just doing one thing. And then once you look back at that list, you did so much and it encouraged you to do more. But if you just constantly look at the list and never accomplish nothing on it, then
some people don't even get started.
What would you, looking back at everything that you have accomplished, knowing what you know now, if you look at then, what would you have changed or did differently?
Nothing, because every mistake that I made has brought me to the level where I'm at. I learned from it. So, you know, if I did something wrong, I'm like, okay, I can't do that no more. But, you know, God, what can this teach me so I can be better? Or how can I change this so I can be better? So I really think that, you know, mistakes are genius. If you don't have mistakes, then you don't know. If you walk in the street, you're going to get hit by a car. Like, you know, you got to learn, even if you learn from somebody else's mistakes, you know. You know, I like to study people that created business, even like Steve Jobs. Like, I fall asleep sometimes watching his documentary and things. Mark, the owner of Facebook, Beyonce, different things, because I like to see how people think and what triggers them, because I know that we look again at these people and we think that their life is great, but I know the pressure is heavy.
First thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
I just thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't, I ask for forgiveness. And like, I'm so grateful because there's so many young people like dying, so many people our age like passing away, like more than ever. Like, you know, I lost my brother. That was one of the hardest things within my business. About 4 years ago, he got murdered during tax season, which is like one of my biggest seasons. My mom called me and she's like, I need to speak to your husband. I'm like, what's going on? I was actually pregnant. And I put it on speakerphone. You know how we are women.
We want to hear.
Want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
And I put it on speaker and I heard her say, you know, like they killed Cal. And like my brother got killed. A home invasion, someone, you know, murdered him. And that's just like, you know, so random that stuff like that can just happen, you know. So it's like, you know, I just thank God that I'm alive and I just try to keep going.
Real quick, 30 seconds. Who inspires you?
I would say like Steve Jobs, of course my mom, my parents, my grandmother. She inspired me. She had 11 kids and she did it by herself.
Wow.
My mom was the youngest, so she raised me. So I look back at a lot of things that she taught me when I was little that drove me crazy, that I didn't understand. I look back on those memories. It inspires me a lot. She had 3 different jobs and she actually had her license to do hair. So
Wow, unbelievable. How can they find you, get in contact with you, all that good old stuff?
My Instagram handle is that Darren Chick _ my business is Dare to Have Hair _ and of course you can go to my website daretohavehair.com.
No doubt. Fantastic. Well, shout out to your publicist. I mean, when we heard it was her folks, we was like, you know, bump them. Let's get her in. You know, so shout out to her. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
I was
Thank you for
nervous,
coming.
but y'all made me feel comfortable.
That's what we do here. That's why she brought you here. This We Talk Weekly. This is what we do.
We family.
You know, so unfortunately we gotta go, man. You know, and it's one of those things. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for coming. So you listen. If it's something you believe that we can do, let us know. Cause We Talk Weekly. This is what we do all day. But unfortunately, we gotta go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, let me take a deep breath. We Talk Weekly podcast is on iHeartRadio, our podcast, Spotify, and Spreaker. Make sure you follow us on the podcast and binge listen to our shows. Like and follow us on our We Talk Weekly Facebook page and download the little TuneIn app. Look for WPPM on P106.5 FM and tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. for We Talk Weekly's After the Talk. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at We Talk Weekly, at Charles Gregory, at Lauren Sizzle, at Sparkle Prices 1. Subscribe to our We Talk Weekly YouTube channel. And if you're in Philly, catch us on Monday night, 9:30, Comcast 66, Verizon 29:30. We Talk Weekly is now on Higher Than 7 TV. Go to higherthan7.com. Subscribe, and look for who?
We Talk Weekly.
All right, I hope y'all ready for this. Hold on. Here we go. We Talk Weekly is now syndicated. You can find us in Atlanta, Birmingham, Birmingham, Chicago, Delaware, Houston, Jacksonville, Los Angeles, Newark, New Jersey, Miami City, and New York City, and all across the nation, especially Philly. And who do you look for?
We Talk Weekly.
Unfortunately, we got to go, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy Charles Gregory with the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
and the beautiful.
Classy Lady
And
Sparkle.
the beautiful.
Deshaun Chancy.
And we got to go. We out here like last year. Hello.
Peace.
What's up, you guys? It's your girl Classy Lady Sparkle with We Talk Weekly. Have you